Good morning, students. Today we are going to read our next essay, A Bachelor's Complaint Against the Behavior of Married People. This essay is penned by Charles Lamb. He was an English essayist, poet, and antiquarian. He was born on 10th February 1775 and he was died on 27th December 1834. He was born to a church clerk's house, and though there were 11 children to their parents, but only 3 survived. The elder brother of Charles Lamb was much more older to him in years, so he was not a fit companion for Charles Lamb in his childhood days. But his sister, Mary Lamb, she was just 8 years older than Charles Lamb, and she has a very close affinity with Charles since their childhood. And later on, what has happened that even Charles Lamb was suffered with smallpox, and as an after effect of that disease, he later suffered with mental illness, which was shared by his sister also, Mary Lamb. She was also suffered with same mental illness, though her illness was much stronger than Charles Lamb. And what happened? That she stabbed her mother in a fit of that mental breakdown. Means she has murdered her own mother. And Charles' elder brother John Lamb, as he was not ready to take any kind of responsibility of that sister, he suggested that they should hand over her to the police or to the mental asylum. But Charles Lamb, as he has been very close to her, his sister, and so he decided to take her responsibility, and with the help of his friends, he just got her released from mental asylum and from that lifetime imprisonment sentence also. And later on, throughout his life, he has taken care of her until her death. So this illness or these two incidents, the first was the smallpox disease, and which later developed into the mental illness to Charles Lamb also, and the illness and subsequent murder of his mother by his sister Mary. These two things has a considerable effect on the life of Charles Lamb. Due to the first thing, due to his own disease, he was not able to complete his studies and he had to leave even his schooling without completing it. And due to the second thing, the illness of his sister and the responsibility to take care of her illness, he remained bachelor throughout his life. He has been a very good essayist. Most of his essays are written on a subjective note in which he has shared his personal feelings and thus giving his essays a human touch. The major works, we can say, the first some poems which he has written in 1798, blank verse poems they were. Then he has written a verse drama, John Woodville, in 1802. The first famous work which came from him and which was written as a joint venture by Charles Lamb and his sister Mary Lamb, It was a children's book named Tales from Shakespeare, 1807. Then there was Adventures of Ulysses. Then there was On the Tragedies of Shakespeare. And the most famous of his was the Essays of Elia, which appeared in 1823 due to the illness of his sister, due to the illness of himself also. Lamb has written all his essays with the pen name of Elia. So the first major collection of these essays appeared as the Essays of Elia, 1823, and then the last Essays of Elia in 1833. Now let's come to our present essay, A Bachelor's Complaint Against the Behavior of Married People. This essay appeared in the Essays of Elia, 1823. And as is evident from the name, है ना, जो नाम है इस essay का, यही हमें बता रहा है much about the theme of the essay, about the subject matter of the essay, that as we have talked about, that due to his own illness and due to the responsibility which he has taken on his shoulders of the treatment or the care of his lunatic sister Mary, Lamb decided to remain bachelor. And being a bachelor, as I have just told you, that he has written his essays in a very humanistic and subjective framework. So in this essay he narrates his own experience as a bachelor, or as an old bachelor, as he himself narrates him in this essay. So how the married people behaves with the unmarried people, or with the bachelors, or rather we can say with the singles. So that issue is presented here by Lamb in a very humorous manner. Means he points out those infirmities, those behavioral traits of these married people, which are quite annoying to the bachelors. And when we read this essay, then we will find out that yes, something of this sort has perhaps happened, or even we might have noticed some kind of such kind of behaviors at times. So let's start. As a single man, I have spent a good deal of my time in noting down the infirmities of married people, to console myself for those superior pleasures which they tell me I have lost by remaining as I am. So, as I have told you, as we have discussed, that in the very first line, Lamb asserts his position, his status as a single man, as a bachelor man. So, the complaint, or the complainer, who is the writer himself, the spokesperson of this essay himself, the narrator of this essay himself. So, what he says, that as a single man, as I am a single man, the very first thing which he does is what? He establishes his own position as a single man. So, means in the very first line he just introduces himself, so that without any doubt the narrator of this essay, the narrator of this these incidents, or these things which are being explained here, is quite a bachelor, a single man. So he says that being a single man, I have spent a good deal of my time in noting down the infirmities of married people. He says, as I myself is a single man, so I have spent a lot of time in noting down, in putting down, in recording, in writing down what? The infirmities, the weaknesses, the bad traits of married people. because I am not a married people, so I'm quite free to note down these infirmities, these weaknesses, these faulty behavior traits of married people. And why he has done this? He tells us that to console myself for those superior pleasures which they tell me I have lost by remaining as I am. He says that they means the married people, they tell me what? That I have lost those superior pleasures of married life by remaining bachelor, by remaining single. I have lost the superior pleasures, the abundance of those high kind of pleasures which only a married person can enjoy. This is what they tell me. This is not what I feel. The writer says, or the narrator says, that I don't feel anything like that, that I have lost those pleasures or I am bereaved of those pleasures. I haven't enjoyed those pleasures of married life. But the married people, they tell him this thing. They suggest him this thing, and or they show him this thing, that yes, you have lost, or you are not able to enjoy those pleasures, those high enjoyments which we married people are enjoying. So he says, just to console myself, है ना, मीन्स अगर आपको जैसे देखिए कई बार क्या होता है, एक स्टोरी थी जो हमने बहुत पहले पढ़ी होगी, है ना, द फॉक्स एंड द ग्रेप्स. In that story what happens, that the fox tries very hard to reach for the grapes, but when she is unable to get hold of them, then what she says, that the grapes are sour. So that is what, that is a consolation for herself, that okay, if I am not able to grasp them, if I am not able to eat them, let me say this thing, that I don't like them because they are sour. So this is what the writer is trying to suggest here, that as I am a single person, so I have been told, or I have been suggested, I have been given hints of this kind by the married people again and again, that I have lost those superior pleasures which I might have enjoyed if I would have been a married person. So he says that the condition in which I am today, and what is that condition? He is a bachelor, he is a single. So he says that due to being a single, I have lost those pleasures as is told by my married friends. So I try to console myself by noting down the infirmities, the faulty behaviors, the mistakes of the married people, towards by which I can console myself that okay, by not marrying, I am not doing such infirmities. I cannot say that the quarrels of men and their wives ever made any great impression upon me, or had much tendency to strengthen me in those anti-social resolutions which I took up long ago upon more substantial considerations. What oftenest offends me at the houses of married persons where I visit is an error of quite a different description. It is that they are too loving. Now he starts giving us those that list which he has made, which he has noted down. He says that I cannot say that the quarrels of men and their wives ever made any great impression of me. The very first thing which we generally note in any married household is what? That there are quarrels among husband and wife. So he says that those uh, quite regular quarrels which take place among men and their wives, they doesn't affect me. They have no impression upon me. I haven't noted them. I have never noticed them, because that is not a much serious thing for the writer. He takes it in a general manner. It says so that thing, or even this thing, don't have much tendency to strengthen me in those anti-social resolutions which I took up long ago upon more substantial considerations. And he says, even this thing has not strengthened my resolution. Which resolution? The resolution not to marry, which I have taken upon more substantial considerations, as we have discussed earlier, as we know from the uh, biography of Charles Lamb, that he remained bachelor. Why? Just to take care of his sister. He decided not to marry, just to devote himself totally to the care of his sister. He decided not to marry, and even at later stage he had to take care of his father also. So he says that this decision which I have taken, this resolution which I have taken not to marry, this was not also taken affected by this thing that there are quarrels among husband and wife. But on the contrary, he says that what oftenest offends me at the houses of married persons where I visit is an error of quite a different description. But he says the thing which has affected me, the thing which has impressioned me up to that degree that I note it down or I narrate it here, is of a different character. That thing, that trait, that error, that infirmity, that weakness which I have noted is of a different type, not of their quarrels. And what is that? That it is that they are too loving. The error which I have noticed is what? That they are too loving. They love each other too much. This is what I object to. This is what I noted as a mistake. This is what I have noted as the silly behavior on the part of the married people. How? Now he gives us further description. He says, not too loving neither. That does not explain my meaning. Besides, why should that offend me? The very act of separating themselves from the rest of the world to have the fuller enjoyment of each other's society implies that they prefer one another to all the world. He says, no too loving neither. No. Sorry. He says, the first thing which he says is what? That yes, what offends me is that they are too loving. But in just a next note, he says, no. Not too loving neither. Not all. I am not offended by their loving, because that does not explain my meaning. Simply, as I have told you that what I don't like or what I dislike or what is wrong on their part is their loving each other. So he says that does not explain my meaning. Besides, why should that offend me? And the second is the thing is that why should I get offended by this thing that they love each other? Because the very act of separating themselves from the rest of the world to have the fuller enjoyment of each other's societies implies that they prefer one another to all the world. I said this has nothing to do with me. If they love each other and if they love each other very much, then what does that mean? That means they prefer the company of each other more than anything else in the world. And that thing has nothing to do with me. Now, again, means now he is trying to clarify his point, that what he means by loving too much, what he means by this thing that they love too much. So he says that don't consider it in a textual meaning only, that I object to their loving. He said that why should it offend me that if they love each other? Because if they love each other more, then the simple implication, the simple meaning of that thing is what? That they prefer the company of each other from the rest of the world. And I don't have any object to it. That if they prefer each other's company, anything else in the world, then that is quite good for them. I don't have any objection to it. So this is it for the day, for the lecture. In our next lectures, we will continue it. Thank you.